They don't come much busier than this Saturday afternoon. 10 races to look forward to on the ITV card, spread across 4 different tracks, 2 countries. Jason Weaver alongside us as well. And with looking like, Jason, it's going to be Scorchio this weekend.
Should be perfect conditions. I know that they're giving it down as good to soft, dotted around all over the place, but surely the ground is going to be drying out. It's getting to that time of year where the form should be working out. If you found one that you think is slightly in front of the assessor and he gets or she gets a clear run round, you should be able to collect.
Well, let's get cracking on then, because we've got 10 races to look forward to. We're going to start at Goodwood, and bear with us because we're trying to work through the brand new Racing Post website at the same time. Big field at Goodwood for the 125. 18 go to post, 7 furlongs. This is where the draw becomes important.
Yeah, it's up over the little spur. And if you are out towards double digits, you're going to need a little bit of luck. It was interesting when you looked at Startled and the way that he managed to win at York. He was sort of the exception to the rule, wasn't he? From the back of the pack, switched out, came down the centre. He's been given a £7 hike by the assessor. Will that be enough to slow him down? The one in here that interests me, and he's probably going to be an each way price as well, Matt, Pathian at the top. Now, he ran in the John Dunlop Memorial conditions race, ran there at Goodwood. Ed Dunlop, his son, would obviously have wanted to win that contest, and he comes back down to 7 furlongs. Fairly highly tried as a juvenile. He could easily be a good bit better than where he's positioned. I think he's better than 103, put it that way.
Okay, then Pathian off the top weight then to kick us off for the winner at a big price, nicely at Goodwood. Then obviously the bulk of the action comes from Haydock. It's a Temple Stakes car. This Hedge of Oak, which is obviously a new race they brought in last year for the fillies listed contest. 9 go to post. We've got Irish representation as well. What wins the Haydock opener?
I think it's a good springboard, isn't it, for a lot of these fillies going forward. Obviously, we might take the long way. Was a Group 2 winner last year. The Irish Raider coming over, slightly disappointing when beaten favourite on return. And you got some old regulars, a Sparks Fly, Cheshire Dancer. The unknowns in here probably consecrated, but she's got a massive amount to find for the William Haggis team. And then you really get into the class angles, if you like. Friendly Soul, last seen winning the Prix de l'Opera. She's got an impressive overall record. I think it's 5 from 6. And even allowing for her having a return to action, she escapes the Group 1 penalty because she's been away from the track for 594 days. And it's not rocket science, is it? Oisin Murphy turns up there to throw his leg across her. So, Friendly Soul. She is the absolute class act in the lineup.
Okay, yeah, she certainly is friendly. So you probably get a decent price on the back of a layoff there, but John Thady Gosden will not leave any stone unturned. Right, this looks like the final chance to throw your hat in the Betfred Derby ring, doesn't it? The 2 o'clock at Goodwood, the Cocked Hat Stakes. It used to be the Lupe Stakes, I think it was, back in the yesteryear. 5 go to post. Saxon Street's already in, obviously having won a blue ribbon, the Betfred blue ribbon trial at Epsom. He sets the standard according to the market.
I think so. I watched the win back again this morning in the trial for the big Betfred Derby, of course, and he got going, he got organised, he was leaning left-handed. The second and the third sort of closed him in down the outside. Look, Command the Stars probably needs a career best, but George Scott is up fresh off the back of another Group 1 success over in France. Cabello de Mar got the job done for them. And Golden Story didn't really fire behind Constitution River. So I think that the fact Charlie Appleby runs Del Maro again would suggest that he's going to force this lad into the Derby reckoning, if you like. Those look the two to concentrate on. He was a little bit disappointed at Chester, but he never seemed to pick up the bridle. It was a funny sort of race behind the red-hot Betfred Derby favourite. So I think Del Maro's going to serve it up to Saxon Street.
Okay, that one for the boys in blue. Back in form, of course, with winners last weekend. Right, we had a red-hot 3-year-old handicap last week with the London Gold Cup. This is just as red-hot as well. The Silver Bowl, always a race to take a big note from. Big field as well, and it's not too big of a run before that sharp left-hand bend, Haydock. So again, draw could be critical in this.
Yeah, draw is definitely crucial. I've got big question marks against a few of these. One who is drawn out in the car park, so I'm going to have one at a huge price that's drawn wide. But I will take a pretty strong view. Look, everybody's coming in here. They've got good pedigrees. A lot of them have won last time, or they're coming in with an unexposed profile. I'm not going to sit here and say that the 1-4 shot Princeling, who got the job done at Weatherby, is the absolute good thing, because he's going to be short, isn't he, at the top of the market, surely. Away from him, I was really taken with the way Langstone got the job done last time at Kempton. Was flat to the boards and then opened up to win going away in the closing stages. For all the world, he's going to improve for the step up in trip, and Clive Cox's team are in really good form. So I like Langston. Clifford Lee, where's he drawn? Down in stall number 1. He's going to be on the paint. If there is one that could run a little bit better than where he's positioned in the market, Winding Stream from 17, ran in the classic trial at Sandown, was very, very keen and fell in a hole. The fact that Richard Hughes decided to run him in the classic would suggest he sits high in the pecking order in the stable. Look, he still sits on a mark of 89. He's back down in trip. I just think he's got a lot of unfinished business.
Okay, then Langstone and Weinstein, 2 against the field then in the Silver Bowl. And then we head to the Knavesmire. Got a couple of races to look forward to there as well. The first one of those due off at 2:40.
What did you make of the draw the last time we were here? You know, it was nuts, wasn't it? We couldn't decide where we needed to be or how it was going to happen. I think, in all honesty, I've got to stick with Toca Madeira. I quite like the fact that he's now drawn in stall number 4, and it's the main man, Danny Tudhope, takes over in the saddle. He's a fantastic bonus to have on your side. He's just got that very, very strong form down here behind American Affair and JM Jungle. It makes him of interest, and he's probably just settled into the David O'Mara way of trading. Lots of horses in here. The likes of Pilgrim. Don't underestimate him. You know, he won the Scottish Sprint Cup. He ran really well over 6 furlongs last time, and this is definitely his bag, isn't it? He's a former Royal Ascot winner, the Palace of Holyrood. So, you know, you could say you're going to have one either side. I've gone low, Toca Madeira, and I think he's a big price as well.
We've got to go in again, haven't we? It wasn't devoid of promise, that run, was it?
It was okay. And of course, down that side where Jack Ajaro went off and he was gone, and he sort of edged away from him and got away to the middle part of the track, if you like. Look, we all know that they beat themselves each time, but we've also got Van the Man in there, who seemed to improve for the blinkers up at Hamilton. But he runs a brilliant race, and then he runs a clunker. So he's a touch in and out like that. I'm hoping Toca Madeira is just on the climb.
Yeah, we're going in again. Toca Madeira then in the sprint on the Knavesmire. Right, back to Haydock then, the Sandy Lane. Aidan O'Brien sending over Brussels. Obviously, Ryan Moore in action at the core. Venetian Sun coming back in trip. This is what the new Commonwealth Cup allows those horses that don't quite see out in the Guineas to do. The key here, though, Jason, the dead 8 go to post.
Well, we love that, the dead 8, don't we? And everybody will have seen Division and the way that he rattled home at Ascot after getting it wrong at the gates. He reared up at the gates, gave it away, back of the pack, and then stays on late in the party. I mean, Coppell, he's obviously going to be towards the top of the market, and I think that Clive Cox, along with Song of the Clyde, is going to have a big say in the Commonwealth itself up at the Royal Meeting. Spicy Marg, Venetian Sun, they're all coming back down and trying their hand, aren't they, in the sprinting division. The one that's been forgotten about in here, and he was 4th in the Middle Park last season, is 5 Ways for the Balding team. He ran in the Palace House. He was only one of 2 3-year-olds in the Palace House, so he was thrown in that deep pool against the sprinters. He was at the back of the pack on the wide outside. He only stayed on into sort of mid-division, but the race happened away from him, if you like. I think he's massively been underestimated. I might be having a few quid on him each way for the Commonwealth. If he goes and pops up here, he's not going to be 66 to 1.
No, he's certainly not. I'm just trying to get my head around this. You've mentioned 3 William Haggis horses so far, and you've still not tipped one of them up.
Yeah, and listen, division, everybody saw it, didn't he? Everybody saw what happened last time. So if he gets things right, surely he could be the new sprinter that they're looking for. I mean, Brussels, he's bound to improve for that return round at Ascot, but he was always up in the van. He had no excuses from where he was, and it's the unknown. And when you look in there and you think, right, who's going to show their hand for the Commonwealth? Well, Andrew Balding's team are in ripping form. This is a sprinter who was going through the grades and finished 4th in the middle park. He runs against the older sprinters on his return. Surely this is going to be his sort of sit.
In what looks a wide open division as well. Somebody to throw his hat in the ring. Right, so back up to York then, there, 3:15. The Bronte Cup. Is Danielle the banker of the afternoon, or are you taking her on?
No, I think that the John and Thady Gosden team, you'll be putting her in with a friendly soul, won't you? If friendly soul goes in and Danielle goes in, everybody's going to be running for cover, aren't they? Because those 3rd and 4th legs for the accumulators. And when you go through them, to be honest, a lot of these are in here because it's Group 3 company. You're trying to pinch that all important black type for when they go through into their second career. And I mean, could we see the likes of maybe Lava Stream putting up a huge performance, but she's still 14 pounds inferior. Danielle put up a career best at the back end at Doncaster. It was mightily impressive. And maybe the ground conditions, maybe she was blooming at that time of year. However, surely she's going to take a world of beating in here.
Okay, then Danielle the banker in the Bronte Cup. That's a staying contest. Then we get the quickest of them all in the Temple Stakes of Group 2. There's never really been that big difference between top class sprint handicappers and group horses. And this is the kind of race that we see. Jack Ajara, we just mentioned, bolted up at York in handicap. Here he is now taking on these group race sprinters. James Jungle likewise. We've got American Affair. We've got a lot of fillies at the bottom who are regulars. Maguire's won this race before as well. And obviously, Ask For It, expect him to take a big step forward from that run at Newmarket.
So the angle in here, when you look down through him, and I mentioned about Knight Raider, he was winning, beating the Balding horse in the Palace House on his return. So that was a good run from him, and he showed lots of pace, didn't he? He absolutely zipped along. And everybody is thinking, can he reinvent himself as that top draw sprinter? Maguire, she ran an absolute clunker on her return over in France. A lot more was expected. But I think they want the softer ground conditions. Surely it's not going to be soft ground. It will have dried out by then. They'll be on the fresh strip of ground down towards the outer track. And she is drawn well up in stall number 11. I'm pretty sure that it was William Buick who was on board when she managed to win last season. American Affair. He's going to take his step forward, isn't he, from his return off a mammoth layoff at York, and he's down over the ideal sort of distance. But for me, Matt, what happened? What do you need? What's your perfect setup for Asphora? It's speed drawn next to you. She's in 5. In 6 is Knight Raider. In 7 is Jack Ajaro. Oisin Murphy needs no introduction at all. He's going to ping the lids, get right on the tail of one of them, and they will take her to where she needs to be. It's a massive opportunity for Asphora. Lemos training her at the moment before I think Henry does come back over at some point and she'll switch trainership back again. But this is her ideal opportunity to prove that return run was no good.
Okay, then Asphora then for Jason to get back to winning ways. Right. We go over to Ireland because we've got a classic, of course, the Irish 2000 Guineas. A bit of a rerun minus Boecker of the Betfred 2000 at Newmarket 3 weeks ago. We've got the second Gestad, the third Distance Storm, the fifth The Secret Adversary, and the seventh Power Blue, all locking horns once again.
When you watch it back, can the Godolphin runner turn that form around? I'm just not convinced when you look at it. Distance Storm, I know they were on 3 different parts of the track, weren't they? Distance Storm over the far side, Starred towards the middle, and Bo Echo a little bit towards the stand rail was where they all ended up finishing. I couldn't see him taking that much of a step forward. Distance Storm. Starred is bound to improve, and what would we be saying, Matt, had he managed to bolt up without Bo Echo? We'd be going, oh, one of the greatest winners of the Guineas ever since. So he's more likely to win. The one who is flying under the radar, and I think the Secret Advisory, he was far too keen at Newmarket. I really don't know what happened with him. He ran two free in the early stages. Prior to that, he hadn't shown any signs of it. I don't know if it was the travelling or what had upset him, but he's much better than that. There's bound to be a good gallop on. Neolithic is in there. Power Blue is in there, going to go forward. All the ammo team and the talk about them. So, Starred, your likely winner. The Secret Advisory, he's the one who's an each way play.
Okay, I like that then for Tommy for the stack team. Right, finally we go back to Haydock for the stakes. If you're not had a winner of the first 9 races in ITV, it doesn't get any easier. We're at about 7 to 2, 4 to on the field for a dozen stayers going to post.
Good 2-miler this, isn't it? Some of my old favourites in here. Yashin, talented but quirky. Tashkan, I think that he's actually been doing pretty well over hurdles, but he hasn't won on the level since 2021, so you can't go with him. And a couple of horses that have run well recently, Polestar, Almuhit and the likes. Surely the unknown quantity in here has got to be Ian Williams's Hermetic. Ran a really good race over a mile and a half at York. Cost €105,000 at the Deauville Horses in Training sale. Now, the worry, Matt, is did he bounce or will he bounce? He'd been off the track for 192 days. He now comes back in just 10 days later off a really big effort, but he goes up in distance and there's no reason why he shouldn't manage to get the job done. So I think Hermetic can, if you haven't had one, he might be the one to get you out of trouble.
Right. Thank you for that. 10 races. We've got classics, we've got sprinters, we've got stayers, we've got pattern races, we've got devilishly difficult handicaps. We've got everything this weekend from the ITV cameras. One job left for you. What would be your best bet?
I'm going to split it because I'm going to have a couple of quid each way on Toca Madeira. I will be following him in. I think that he's a talented sprinter and we haven't seen the best of him yet. Danny Tudhope on, drawn in 4, lots to like about that. I like Langstone for Clive Cox because who takes up the lion's share of the market? Princeling, trained by my god trainer, William Haggis, of course, but he's bound to be incredibly short. He'll be overbet. Langstone flying under the radar in the 220.
There we are. This is why we love him. He's not gone for the easy ones, the odds-on favourites. The 2 biggest handicaps of the day are his best bets. Right, thanks to Jason for joining us. We'll see him at Haydock on Saturday from the ITV cameras. It's about to get a very busy time for us here at Betfred. Busy afternoon of racing. Best of luck with whatever you're backing.